Hello, folks, and welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossil Talks. I know it's been a while since I last made a video, but it's been preparation time for field season, so I've been busy. But because I'm going into the field, I figured this month I'd talk all about sauropods because we probably have some at our site. Probably several, honestly. It's Morrison Formation. Primarily, it's going to be sauropods, whether we want it to be or not. Personally, I want it to be. Don't tell my boss that. He don't like that. Anyway, let's talk about sauropod phylogeny because why not? So, sauropods are some of the most easily recognizable animals, whether, dead or alive, because they have massive bodies with long necks and tails and pillar-like legs, and they're often used as the eye-catching centerpiece at museums like NHMU, Natural History Museum of Utah, simply because of their large size and the fact that they just need to be in the center of a large space in order to even put them on display. But sauropods, man, they're awesome. So, sauropods are part of the saurischian or lizard-hipped group of dinosaurs, along with theropods, such as the Allosaurus that are in this picture with the Barosaurus. The phylogeny, or the evolutionary history of sauropods, starts with a group called sauropodomorphs, or lizard-footed forms. This group includes sauropods and all of their ancestral forms, which are often called prosauropods, such as this Panphagia, which is possibly the oldest sauropodomorph, which was found in Argentina in rocks that are about 231.4 million years old, which is late Triassic in age. So, distinguishing features known as synapomorphies are used to place animals, and plants for that matter, into various groups of related organisms. So for sauropodomorphs, these synapomorphies include large nares, as seen in this Plateosaurus skull. The distal part of the tibia is covered by an ascending process of the astragalus, or ankle bone. As you can kind of see in this picture down below, it was hard to find a really good example of that. The hind limbs are short compared to the length of the torso, as seen in this Massospondylus. They have 3 or more sacral vertebrae, or vertebrae that are in the hip region, which are circled in this Mosasaurus skeleton. They have thin, flat, spatulate teeth with serrated crowns, like this Camarasaurus. They have a minimum of 10 cervical vertebrae, as circled in this Riojasaurus. They also have at least 25 pre-sacral vertebrae, so that is all the vertebrae before the hip bones. So that's cervical and dorsal. And finally, they have a large digit 1 on the manus, as shown here. Sauropodomorphs appeared in the late Triassic period, and as such are some of the oldest dinosaurs found in the fossil record. They started out relatively small, but as we follow the phylogenetic tree, we reach the clade Sauropoda itself, and we see drastic increases in size. Now, 2 of the major synapomorphies for Sauropoda include 4 fused sacral verts, as shown in this Diplodocus sacrum, and a straight femur, as shown here from a model, or not a model, this is an actual bone from Dinosaur National Monument that I believe it might actually also be Diplodocus. I didn't pay that much attention when I took the picture. Whoops. Now, these features show a marked shift in the postcranial skeleton, so everything behind the skull, that comes with increased weight. We're talking massive weight here, and we need weight-bearing bones and the ability to hold themselves up. The hind feet of sauropods were broad, and most species, as shown here, have 3 claws on their feet. This foot belongs to a sauropod known as Rhoetosaurus. The front feet, however, were arranged in fully vertical columns with extremely reduced finger bones so that they could put their weight more centralized. Think sort of similar to elephants, but not really. Their skeletons are built a little different in their feet. But imagine trying to put all of that weight on your fingers. Not fun. The next clade that comes in our phylogenetic tree is Eusauropoda, which means true lizard foot. Don't be fooled, sauropods don't actually have feet anywhere remotely similar to lizards. That was just how they got named. Anyway, synapomorphies of this clade include the incorporation of the first 2 dorsal vertebrae, so back vertebrae, into the cervical column, plus 2 additional cervical vertebrae because they didn't have enough to begin with, along with retracted external nares, which just means that their nose is starting to shift upwards. You can see that in this Jobaria with his massive nares on the front here. Mamenchosauridae is a family within Eusauropoda. This family is found exclusively in Asia, possibly in Africa, but that's still up for debate right now. They don't have a ton of material, so they're still working on it. But this group possessed extraordinarily long necks, sometimes making up over half of the total body length. And they have some relatively short tails, making them look a tad bit lopsided, like this Mamenchosaurus, for which the group was named. Now, following Eusauropoda comes the clade Neosauropoda, or new lizard-footed, and this clade is distinguished by a pre-anorbital fenestra, which is a hole in the front of the antorbital fenestra, which is a hole in front of the eye socket or the orbit. Now, this pre-anorbital fenestra is actually in the ventral or the base of the skull, so it's actually underneath and in front, if that makes sense. I'd show you, but there are nobody ever draws skulls ventrally or dorsally. Like, everything's lateral, from the side. I get it. That's the best way to really see what it looks like, but man, give me some other angles. The teeth also lack denticles. So denticles are these little sort of ridge-like pieces of teeth. These are ankylosaur teeth because obviously neosauropods do not have these. But just to give you an idea of what a denticle is, it's these little jagged pieces on the crown. Neosauropods also have 2 or fewer carpals, as circled in blue here, and the metacarpals are bound to create a digitigrade posture, so they walk on their toes, which is why they are different from elephants, because elephants do not in fact walk on their toes. They walk on the palms of their hands, because that's how mammals do. Well, these mammals do. Anyway, so this Diplodocus foot kind of shows you how the hand looks. Finally, when we look at their back foot, you can see that they have a wedge-straight astragalus, or ankle bone. And that is our major distinguishing features for Neosauropoda. Now, I'm going to run out of time here, so there's going to be a second video because there's so much more I have to tell you. But just to end this one, know that Neosauropoda is broken up into the superfamily Diplocoidea and the clade Macronaria, and I will dive into those in our second video, so I hope you guys are enjoying what you're learning about sauropod phylogeny today. And I will fossilize you later.